Hello, welcome back and thank you for being here. So we are now on the second video of the two-part series called The Power of Habits Through Writing. Last week we talked about healing through journaling and the simple ways of practicing it even if you're not so fond of writing. And this week we will be talking about the power of writing notes, making lists, and reminders. I know this is probably not something that you hear of very often. Writing notes and making lists is a habit that I started out of necessity, or should I say, out of a desperate need to manage my mental fatigue. You see, I have a terrible memory, and just like probably many of you, there's so many things that's going on in my head, things to remember, things to do, and trying to remember them all could be very stressful. And when you forget something, the disappointment and the frustration that comes with it actually contribute to mental stress without us realizing it. When I hear people talk about having memory issues, I always say I have a theory about that. My theory is our mind can only hold and process so much information. And between the thoughts that are nonstop in our heads, all the worries that we have day in and day out, all the things that we have to do and we're trying to remember, it can get very cluttered. So I say it's not so much of a memory issue. It's more of just something that our brain only has a certain capacity to hold so much information. So if there's so much going on in our heads, it really doesn't have any more room to remember anything. I say this theory because this is what my life is about. I try to make a sense out of my forgetfulness, and because I think too much, I worry a lot, there really is no room for me to remember things. But I have accepted the reality that this is who I am. I just think too much, this is how I process things, and this is how I work things. So I needed to really create something and practice a habit that would support the way I am and the way I work. Hence, I started writing everything. Writing down notes and lists and reminders is like really organizing and filing your thoughts and categorizing them. The thing with me is the more organized I am, the better I feel. Also because this gives me the space to think without getting overwhelmed or getting too stressed out. It also gives your mind the ability to process the bigger things that really matter, like the hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, instead of getting so caught up from the busyness of life and all the things that are floating in your head and trying to remember them all. The thing is, mental stress is real and it's exhausting, and it can actually manifest itself into physical fatigue after a while. This is what happened to me. So I have been learning and I have been practicing this myself for many, many years, and it really has been detrimental to my mental health. Before notes and apps on our phones, I used to write everything on Post-its and notebook. Thankfully, we now have apps that make things so much easier. And one thing I like about this is you can actually do a search on your app if you're looking for a specific, like an older note. However, I still do like writing on paper and Post-it notes. I have notes for everything, and I mean everything. Like grocery lists for every place I go to, things to do, people to call, quotes I want to share, ideas on what to write about, and just so much more. Besides the notes for any given day, I also have a calendar and a notebook where I write all the things I plan to do each day. Then in that notebook, I create like two columns. One is for work and one is under personal. Then every morning, I go through my list and I set alarms to remind me on the really important things like appointments, meetings, and sometimes even doing laundry and making dinner. Because a lot of times I get caught up in doing one thing, then I forget hours have passed and I have not made dinner, or I have not prepared myself for a call, which makes me feel rushed, and that really stresses me out. I know it may seem a lot to do in the beginning, but once you get the hang of it, it would actually become second nature and it will just be a part of your everyday routine. The thing is, we have these tools available to us, so why not use them, right? From phone apps to post-it notes, calendar, notebooks, alarms, we have them all. Try and see what works for you. Start with one and you can add more as you go along. Because at the end of it all, life can be hard, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. We can choose to thrive and practice habits that will really support us day to day. And especially those very simple things that we can actually do to support our mental health. I hope you enjoy this two-part series and learn a little something that you can start to practice on your own. Let me know if you do. And as always, sending you my love and gratitude. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't forget so you don't miss and please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any new videos that come out. Okay, thanks. Bye.